Good evening. Welcome to Illinois Law, brought to you by the Illinois State Bar Association. My name is Nancy Hablitzel, and I'll be your moderator this evening. We're talking this evening about how to find the lawyer who's the right fit for you. And I have three panelists with me who are experienced in various areas of the practice of law, and they're going to talk about how you go about choosing someone who is not only a good lawyer, but is the good lawyer for you. My first panelist is Jesús Pérez. Mr. Pérez is born and raised in Chicago and graduated from the University of Illinois College of Law in 1994. He also graduated from the University of Illinois with his BA in 1991. He works in private practice at his own firm, specializing in criminal matters. He's successfully tried numerous bench trials and jury trials in his 15 years of practice, and he's also lectured in many places on traffic matters, DUIs, and criminal matters. And he's a member of the Illinois Hispanic Bar Association, Chicago Bar Association. He's also a volunteer and former board member of Chicago Volunteer Legal Services. My second panelist is Yasser Tabara. Yasser is a principal of Zarzur, Khalil, and Tabara LLC in Chicago. He was born in Chicago and grew up in Damascus, Syria, so he has a very varied background. He completed his studies in political science from the University of Illinois at Chicago, and also had some film background during those years. He's then got his Juris Doctor degree from the DePaul University College of Law. He is concentrating his practice area in nonprofit representation, business transactions, and litigation. And my third panelist is Bonita Wang Cho. She's a partner in the law offices of Cheng, Cho, and Yi, where she concentrates her practice in immigration and nationality law. She received her JD degree from Chicago Kent and her BS degree in business administration from the University of Illinois at Champaign-Urbana. I have a whole lot of University of Illinois people here tonight, don't I? She's past president of the Korean American Bar Association and a member and past co-chair of the Asylum Committee of the American Immigration Lawyers Association. And I welcome all three of you here.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, and we're going to talk a little bit about finding the right lawyer for you. And I think it's the match thing there, getting the person who matches you well. Where would you start? Where would be the first place that you would go if you wanted to find a lawyer? And I'll start with you, Bonita, because you're closest.
And I think that one of the best places that you can find a good lawyer for you is if you ask around to your friends and family. Who have they used in the past? What have their experiences been with the attorneys that they've used? With my practice, personally, almost all the clients that I receive, it's by word of mouth. So if you speak to family members and friends, they can tell you about their personal experiences, and so you have some kind of something to work with, some knowledge you can base your decision on as to whether or not you want to retain this person.
Are there any other places that you could go to?
Absolutely. I think that it depends on the community, depending on for example, the language that is spoken and that is preferred in addition to the English language as a principal language. You can look out for certain ethnic bar associations that have referral programs, and usually these referral programs are very well filtered, where only certain types of attorneys make it to these referral lists, and depending on the ethnic bar association, you have the appropriate language spoken. For example, I'm a board member of the Arab American Bar Association, and we do have a referral list for lawyers that speak Arabic in Chicago for all sorts of different practices. I'm also a member of the Muslim Bar Association, which is more of a religious background as opposed to an ethnicity, but also contains lawyers that speak a lot of the languages that a lot of these immigrant communities from these backgrounds also come from.
So you have the balance of two things, the language and the culture there.
Exactly.
Too. And Jesus?
You know, a lot of times if you've had an experience with a prior lawyer who may have helped you maybe in a workers' comp claim or a traffic matter or something of that nature, they may have other lawyers who they can refer to you if they can't help you in the particular case that you may have. And what I like to do with my clients is I like for them to come in to see me and talk to me personally about their cases. I don't like necessarily the client who just is calling 10 different lawyers and just saying, how much do you charge? You know, it's a good idea to go and talk to the lawyer, see if you feel comfortable with them, see how you feel with that lawyer, see how the communication is with that lawyer, because that's the way you're going to get really a good idea of whether that lawyer is right for you or not.
A good point, that you actually need to meet them face to face and find out whether this is someone you could work with.
Which kind of actually goes to what Benita was saying earlier, where the word of mouth and the type of impact that you've made as a lawyer on a particular client. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's what you have as a lawyer, is your reputation. And if you have done a good job with a particular case or client, then the expectation is you either can do a good job in another matter, or you can refer somebody who's as competent as you are to your client.
And that gets a little bit to what Jesus was saying, that if you have somebody who you've been comfortable with, they may not know the area of law that you're looking for someone to handle, but they may know someone who would handle it competently, and you might trust their judgment too.
Absolutely.
Are there other places that you can go? We talked about the ethnic bar associations. There's obviously the Illinois State Bar Association, and other local bar associations where people live. What other ways would you check on somebody who might have a particular area of law that they concentrate their practice in?
Well, you can always go also through, there are a number of, and I'm sure on your show you've interviewed a number of nonprofit legal services, for example, anywhere from immigration type of services to housing to family law. And usually also these kinds of places carry referral lists. Now, these places usually have a sliding scale type of representation fee, where if you make a certain amount of money, you cannot, or over a certain amount of money, you cannot qualify for these services. But at the same time, these places usually have excellent referral lists, because they tend to work with lawyers who are committed to the pro bono practice as well, because a lot of these lawyers that happen to be on that referral list also do a lot of free services for these organizations. So you can tell that that lawyer that you're being referred to has a mixed practice, a mixed amount of clients as well.
And has actually handled this kind of case before.
Exactly.
Would that be a question that you want to ask a lawyer when you're interviewing? How many of these have you handled, and how often do you do this?
Of course.
Yeah, I think that the client has a right to know about the lawyer who they're thinking of hiring, and asking them how many years of experience you have. I don't ever feel threatened or insulted when a person or potential client comes in and interviews me. They're asking me about how many years of practice I've been in, how many of these types of cases I've had. Obviously, every case is different, and you can't promise a client any particular result. In fact, in the criminal matters which I practice in, sometimes clients will ask me, what can you guarantee me? And I tell them, the only guarantee I can give you is that I'm going to do the best that I can in your case. And they'll tell me, this other lawyer guaranteed me that he could win my case, or something of that nature. And I tell them, if their lawyer is guaranteeing you any results, you need to not hire that lawyer, because he's not being truthful with you.
And I can't think of an area of the law in which you can guarantee anything.
Any outcome, absolutely. And I think also want to go on what Jesus was saying, in that as you're interviewing that lawyer, as Jesus put it, you really want to watch out for someone who's too pushy, or someone who really wants your business, or someone who basically gives a certain type of language that basically intimidates you into signing a contract. I mean, the moment all these are basically red flags that we need to watch out for as clients and potential clients. When a lawyer is telling you that if you do not hire me, or if you do not, I'm someone that I'm basically the foremost expert in this, and if you do not hire me, then you're in trouble. Then that's a cue for you to say, okay, well, let me think about it and get back to you.
I think that people should not be afraid to ask questions. I think if you have a good lawyer, the good lawyer is going to want you to ask as many questions as you need to feel comfortable and to really understand what's going to happen, what's involved with the case. I also think that people should understand that, you know, I think people are nervous about talking about money. You know, people don't like asking about money, they think it's rude. But if you have a good lawyer, I think they expect you to ask that, and they will answer honestly. And if they have had experience, they can give you, if they can't give you an exact amount about what they think it's going to cost, they can give you a very good ballpark estimate. Most lawyers do have you sign a contract too, and so you can have something in writing. So you know, the clients are left hanging, not knowing exactly how much it's going to cost or how much more they're going to have to pay and how much they'll have to keep on paying.
And I think it's very important for a lawyer to be accessible to their clients. If you can't get in to see the client, if you can't get in to see the attorney for an appointment for a consultation, or if the attorney doesn't return your phone call, that's a sign right there. I encourage most of my clients or potential clients to come in to see me and meet with me. And then also to follow up on Bonita's point, the written retainer agreement I think is very important. The client should know how much they're going to be charged, and again, if a total figure can't be given to the client, at least an hourly rate or price range should be put into writing so that the client can know what they're getting themselves into financially. And most lawyers will do that and should do that.
And that point and the point raised by Bonita earlier are particularly important when it comes to immigrant communities. You have basically, I've had experiences with, and I've been in the nonprofit or the public interest sector for a while, and so I've dealt with a lot of immigrants who basically have very little experience dealing with attorneys. And for them, and this is a point that Bonita made earlier before the show, is that there is this perception that, you know, an attorney is a figure of authority, and I'm not supposed to really ask too many questions because that's rude, or that oversteps my boundaries, and that nothing could be further from the truth. As Jesus said, that you really have to consider your attorney as someone who wants your business. There are thousands of attorneys in the city of Chicago that would want your business, and you have the advantage of basically picking the best representation that suits you.
Thank you. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this after the break. We're going to take a short break, and as soon as we finish that, we'll be back to talk some more about how you find the right attorney for you with my 3 guests for this evening.
We live in a society governed by laws, laws that give us certain rights and responsibilities. Our court system applies the law to resolve disputes and violations of the law. The magic of the American justice system is that everyone entering the courtroom is on equal footing. An individual, the state, the largest corporation, all are subject to the same laws and legal protections. Illinois Law is the name of a weekly program on CAN TV, Channel 21. Every Tuesday at 10 p.m., legal experts from the Illinois State Bar Association explain how the law affects our lives and what we should do to protect our rights and live up to our responsibilities. It's legal news that you can use.